I now call this meeting to order. The DeKalb County Board of Education will meet in regular monthly session Thursday, October the 13th, 2022, 7 p.m. at the Ernest Ray Education Center. Ms. Vickers, could you call the roll?
Mr. Alan Hayes, Mr. Eric Irvin, Mrs. Jamie Cripps,
Present.
Mr. Danny Parkerson,
Present.
Mr. Jason Miller,
Present.
Mr. Jim Bashirs,
Present.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Present. Before I begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the Harvey family. Thank you. The first item on the agenda are the consent items. I think everybody had everything emailed to them this week. Are there any items that anyone would wish to have further discussion or to have removed, pulled from the agenda? If not, then I'll entertain a motion that we accept. Motion made by Mr. Miller. To have a second? Second by Mr. Bashirs. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Item number 2 is to consider and act on first reading of school board policies 4.210 and 4.601.
Both of those are, well, one of them is credit recovery. It updated the percentage of passing the class once you do credit recovery. And the 4.603 is the promotion and retention policy, and they updated the third grade literacy law and applied that in that policy.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Cripps. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bashirs. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 3 is to consider and act on accepting the bid for the lighting project at the Dchs football field.
We went through and we were able to use a procurement with our lighting project. You have the pricing of purchasing the poles and the lights. Mr. Aaron Young and his crew will be installing them if you so pass. So that will be the additional cost.
Any further discussion? We need to do a roll call vote. Okay. Do I have a motion that we approve? Motion made by Mr. Bashirs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. And we need a roll call vote.
Mr. Jason Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Jamie Cripps,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Irvin, Mr. Jim Bashirs,
Yes.
Mr. Alan Hayes, Mr. Danny Parkerson,
Yes.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Yes. And that one carries. Next item is item number 4, is to consider and act on accepting the bid for the bleacher project at DCHS football field.
You have the pricing in front of you, and that includes moving the newer section from the high school to the soccer field.
Do I have a motion that we approve?
For safety reason, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Parkerson. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bashirs. Any further discussion? And again, need a roll call vote.
Mr. Danny Parkerson,
Yes.
Mr. Alan Hayes, Mr. Jim Bashirs,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Irvin, Mrs. Jamie Cripps,
Yes.
Mr. Jason Miller,
Yes.
Chairman Sean Tubbs.
Yes. That approves. Item number 5, consider and act on innovative school model grant.
That was a grant that Mr. Leach went over with you guys earlier at the workshop. Mr. Leach, do you want to add anything?
Again, this is just the grant that or the amounts that I propose for DeKalb West School as far as DeKalb Middle School and the high school for this integrated program. This is just the money that, for the budget that I'm recommending that we do for the Innovative School Grant, which is a basically a four-year project for DeKalb County High School, DeKalb Middle School, DeKalb West School. And as I told you earlier in the workshop, the state is not really determined yet exactly when we will get this money. It did start out as a four-year plan, but we may get this money a lot earlier. So, but I just want to submit this budget to you as the Innovative School Model Grant for these schools.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? We'll second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Ms. Cripps. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Miller. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? And that carries. Next item is the personnel report.
You have it in front of you. It's pretty lengthy. We've hired several. We've got several on leave as requested. Some are on current leave currently, and we got some that going to be a leave later on, but they've got it in early. And we have a couple of resignations. I just want to thank Ms. Kinderly Cripps for her time as a bookkeeper here and her assistant. She's been with us a long time. She's been my bookkeeper for a very long time, dating back to my days at the high school. And Mr. Ethan Van Hook, we appreciate his time that he spent and the relationships he built with our kids.
And item number 7 is the committee and school reports.
I want to recognize a young man. I don't know how many of you guys seen him on Channel 5 News this weekend, but his name is Ace Tarpley, and he is a student at Northside, and he is going to be in a play with some other students, and I think it's Peter Pan, and he stole the show when he did his interview the other day on the news, and he did a great job, and I talked to his mother the other day, and I said, you know, I just want to tell you how proud you should be of your little boy. I said, he did a great job. But Ace, man, you did great, and we wish you nothing but the best, and we need to get some dates when that play's going to be so we can come see you in action.
Any other school reports? No? Okay. Does any other board member have any other business that may properly come before the board?
I've got a question, Patrick, Mr. Chris. I know we did the moment of silence, and I know it's a very difficult time in a family's life. You know, one of the smallest students in the school. Is there any way we can do something to recognize him? And we may have passed some in the past that have died while they were students of ours in school that we didn't recognize, but we might can think about something and maybe start something here and give the parents a little recognition for what time they did spend in their school system and appreciation of them. And I don't know what I'm asking for, but I mean, it's just a thought.
Yeah, I think, you know, I know you see, you go to other schools and they have things posted of students that have lost their lives, and I think that's something that we could do. And, you know, one thing I was talking to, I guess, Ms. Burklow and Dr. Collins, I said, you know, of course, Ms. Burklow will be gone by then too, and I will too, but there's one thing, we've got to make sure that that young man is part of his graduating class when he gets to that time, 13 years down the road. But there is definitely something we do something to recognize him and keep his thoughts in that school.
And I will go further to say, personally being, you know, our teachers get all the criticism in the world, and they've got a tough job, and maybe we don't support them sometimes that we should, and it's hard, but his teacher said to react to like they lost one of their own, and very hard time on teachers.
It is. And you know, one thing I would say is just keep the family in prayers, and that school, DeKalb West, in prayers that, you know, it affects all.
And that classroom
And that
teacher.
classroom teacher, those students, it's a hard time.
Yeah, motion, we adjourn. Motion made by Mr. Bashir, second. Second by Mr. Parson. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting is adjourned.